What if the bottle you almost threw away could become the most meaningful piece of your backyard? Not because it's perfect, but because you made it with your hands, with what you have, and with a little bit of hope. Welcome to our Shaka Aesthetic Studio, where simple things find new purpose and small spaces turn into stories. In this video, we'll explore creative and truly doable recycle bottle DIY ideas for your backyard. Each design is built for real life, not perfection. You'll find timestamps below. Jump to the idea that speaks to you most. And if something touches your heart or sparks a question, drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. You're not just helping a channel grow. You're helping a small family hold on to a dream. One like, one comment, one quiet act of kindness at a time. Thank you for watching. Thank you for seeing me. One, bottle nipple drip system for chickens. There's a kind of quiet magic in a morning spent with hens. Beneath the soft rustle of straw and the familiar cluck of contentment, a small, ingenious creation sits tucked against the wooden beams. It's nothing more than a row of used plastic bottles, once tossed aside without a thought. But now, they serve again, transformed into a clean and clever watering system. Each bottle, crystal clear and filled with fresh water, holds a gravity-fed secret. From its bottom, a small nipple nozzle releases just enough with every gentle peck. No spills, no waste, just simplicity at its best. Even on the busiest days, when your hands are full and your to-do list longer than the fence line, your flock still drinks in peace. You don't need a workshop or blueprint, just a bottle, a nipple valve, and the willingness to believe that care can come from reuse. Mount them on the coop wall, thread them through with wire or string, and you've made more than a feeder. You've made a habit of kindness. It's in these quiet details: a well-watered hen, a bottle repurposed, a morning made easier, that sustainability truly begins. Not with grand gestures, but with practical love for the life we tend. 2, hanging rainbow wall planter bottles. In a backyard kissed by morning light, where space is precious and dreams grow in small corners, a wall comes alive, not with brick or paint, but with color that breathes and grows. Hanging from twine and hope, a rainbow has taken root. Bottles, once forgettable and clear, now shine in bold coats of red, sky blue, sunflower yellow, and spring green. Each one holds more than soil. They cradle stories, beginnings, little bursts of life. Mint peeks out shyly. Lettuce leans into the sun. Tiny flowers nod in the breeze as if saying, yes, we belong here. This isn't a gardener's masterpiece from glossy pages. It's something real, crafted with hands, strung with care, painted perhaps with a child by your side. Imperfect in the most beautiful ways. A project born not from shopping carts, but from choosing to see potential in what the world throws away. And in this vertical garden, color finds its voice, not from flowers alone, but from the joy of doing, of making, of believing that even the plainest plastic can bloom when given a second chance. So if your space is small, let your imagination climb. Let your bottles dangle. Let your walls grow wild. Because sometimes a little garden joy doesn't need earth below. It just needs a wall, a rope, a brush, and a heart that's ready to see life in color. 3. Bottle cap wind chimes. There's a kind of music that needs no instruments. It comes with the wind, dancing through branches, brushing past hanging bottle caps that catch the sun and whisper memories into the air. These aren't notes from a symphony. They are lullabies of reuse, composed in a backyard where beauty is crafted, not bought. From what others discard, caps, lids, small bits of color, you've created a quiet instrument, one that sings with every breeze. Each cap clinks gently into another, like laughter at dusk or stories shared under stars. Some are red, others green or gold, each one with a past. A celebration once toasted, a bottle once emptied on a summer day, now strung with love onto fishing line or twine. They hang from a circle of wood. Simple, charming, alive. There's nothing polished here, and that's the point. Their imperfections shimmer in the sunlight, like old memories that still shine when we remember them. You don't need to be an artist, just curious, just willing, just patient enough to see the rhythm in the discarded. Start with 5 caps off 50. Mix plastic with metal, soft tones with bright ones. Let your fingers thread a melody only your garden can play. Because in these chimes, what was forgotten finds voice. And sometimes the smallest sound, the one we almost ignore, is the one that makes us pause, breathe deeper, and remember, peace can be handmade. 4. Concrete bottle fence posts. Strength doesn't always wear steel. Sometimes it comes in the form of a plastic bottle. Ordinary, familiar, tossed aside without thought. But here, in the quiet heart of a garden, it rises again. This time, not to hold liquid, but to hold up dreams. Each bottle is filled with purpose now. Cement pours in like intention, steady and heavy, then sets with quiet resolve. The pole that once wobbled now stands strong, hugged tightly by the mold it never expected to become. The earth receives it gladly, knowing it will hold. This isn't just building, it's reimagining. A fence, humble and handmade, grows from these anchors. Bamboo, salvaged wood, or drifted branches, all supported by plastic shells that no longer belong to the landfill. They stand firm through sun and rain, through the weight of vines and the passage of seasons. They endure. You don't need expensive brackets or heavy-duty gear. Just time, a trowel, a bottle, and a belief that strength can be simple, that solutions can be sustainable, that you, with your hands and heart, can build something lasting. And maybe that's what this project is really about. Not just fences or foundations, but the quiet power of choosing to create instead of consume. To hold things together with patience, not pressure. So next time you finish a soda, save the bottle. You might be holding the base of your next great idea. 5. Plastic bottle dome nursery. In the quietest corner of the garden, where each footstep lands softly on mulch and the scent of earth lingers long after rain, stands a dome, not of glass, not of steel, but of light and intention. It hums with the breath of new beginnings. Its walls shimmer, made not from panels or panes, but from bottles, clear, curved, familiar. Each one once emptied and forgotten, now reborn as a protector of fragile life. Together, they rise into a circle that shelters sprouts and dreams. Inside, it's warm, calm, and filled with promise. Tiny leaves reach for filtered sunlight, their roots finding comfort in the rhythm of gentle watering and the steady warmth that collects through the day. There's no noise here, no rush, just the sound of things growing slowly, honestly, nature and reuse working in perfect harmony. You don't need a greenhouse from a catalog. You need patience. You need bottles, scissors, and the quiet joy of stacking what was once waste into walls that cradle the future. This dome doesn't just grow plants. It grows perspective. It teaches that shelter can come from care, that even the most ordinary objects can form a sanctuary, that tending seedlings in the glow of your own creation brings a kind of peace no store can sell. And as each seed stretches upward, it carries with it a simple truth. Growth is not just about what's planted, but how we choose to protect it. Six, plastic bottle stepping bricks. There's a rhythm to a garden that only your feet truly know. Step by step, they remember where the soil softens, where the flowers lean in, where the ground gently curves beneath the sun. And now, between those memories, a path begins to take shape, not with costly pavers or heavy slabs, but with bottles. Common, clear, once crinkled bottles, now filled with quiet strength. Each one pressed into cement, mold not just into shape, but into purpose. You kneel in the soft afternoon light, trowel in hand, the scent of fresh soil around you. One by one, these simple forms become stepping stones, pressed into the ground like echoes of care. They guide, not shout. Their presence is humble, their message clear. Even waste can become a way forward. This isn't a project rushed. It takes time. It takes hands willing to get dirty and eyes willing to see past the obvious. The bottles filled with cement are firm underfoot, yet tender in origin, because they remind us that building something beautiful doesn't require buying something new. And as you rise, brushing earth from your palms, you look back at the trail you've laid, a path that tells a story of thoughtfulness, of reuse, of slowing down just enough to walk more intentionally. Let every step in your garden be a quiet reminder. What we discard today might carry us tomorrow. Seven, fairy mushroom bottle houses. In a shaded pocket of the backyard, where leaves whisper above and the ground feels softer somehow, a village waits, not of bricks, but of imagination. Tiny homes, their caps round and cheerful, dot the garden like a fairy tale paused mid-chapter. Crafted from discarded plastic bottles, each house is a mushroom kissed with whimsy. Red with white spots, green with ivy, blue like a sky that never forgot how to dream. Their windows are painted crooked, their doors just big enough for a spark of wonder to step through. And while no fairies have been caught on camera, yet, these little homes carry their magic well, because they were born not from store shelves, but from stories, ones that begin in your hands, with a brush, a bit of paint, and a moment of childlike belief. They don't need to be perfect. In fact, it's the smudgies and wobbly lines that make them real, that make them yours. Place them by the flower beds, tuck them under ferns. Let them surprise guests, delight children, and remind you that joy doesn't have to be loud. It can be playful, patient, and made from things the world thought were done. Because in gardens like these, magic doesn't hide. It grows in plain sight, where a bottle becomes a home, and a home becomes a story waiting to be found. Eight, hydroponic bottle grow cups. There's a kind of garden that grows not from the ground, but from quiet ingenuity. In this place, there's no soil beneath the roots, only light, water, and a whisper of nourishment flowing silently through repurposed plastic. Bottles once filled with soda now cradle something softer, new life. Each one is halved and inverted, resting on a channel of white PVC or perched neatly on a balcony rail. Above, the seedling stretches toward the sun. Below, its roots dangle freely into a stream of mineral-rich water, held tenderly by what was once trash. There is order in this space, not rigid, but rhythmic. The leaves grow in harmony, each bottle a cup of green potential. It's not complicated, just clever. No digging, no weeding, just patience, a nutrient mix, and a bit of care. In every droplet that touches root, there's a lesson. Sustainability doesn't need grandeur. It needs attention, and intention, and maybe just a little bit of faith in the simplest tools. So gather your bottles. Cut, rinse, and invert. Let them line your windowsill, your fence, your garden table. Let lettuce grow where labels used to be. Let peppers rise where plastic once clouded your view. Because in a hydroponic garden like this, you're not just feeding your body, you're feeding your spirit. You're growing a practice of looking deeper and finding potential, even in the discarded. 9. Mini Pirate Ship Bottle Floater. Somewhere in the still waters of a garden pond, adventure sets sail. It doesn't come in a grand vessel carved from oak or powered by sails that tower in the wind. No, this ship began its life as a bottle. A simple plastic bottle, now transformed into a voyager of imagination. Afloat on a mission not for treasure, but for joy. Painted sails flap gently, stitched from paper scraps or old fabric. A tiny flag waves boldly, perhaps a pirate skull or just a splash of red. Twine holds the mast steady. The hull, once filled with soda, now holds dreams, small and seaworthy. It's not just a floating toy. It's a story you built with your hands. And in that story are echoes of childhood days. Hands wet with water, knees in the grass, laughter echoing as a bottled boat catches the wind and begins its journey. It's a project where play becomes presence, where parents and children meet in the magic space between creation and curiosity. You don't need perfect materials, just what's already at home. A bottle, some string, a dash of paint, and the willingness to imagine. And as the boat drifts across the pond, it carries more than decorations. It carries memory. It carries connection. Because even in the smallest corners of a garden, stories can sail. And sometimes, that's exactly what a backyard is for. Not just to grow, but to imagine. 10. Bottle Cap Glow Lampshades. As twilight stretches its arms across the garden, a hush settles in. The birds have finished their songs, and the leaves no longer dance. They sway, slow and content. And then, softly, the lights bloom. Not electric lanterns from a catalog, not expensive solar posts, but soft glows cradled by bottles. Once discarded, now filled with light. The bottoms of plastic containers, cut clean, catch and diffuse the warmth like old hands holding a candle. Some are clear, some frosted, some painted just enough to glow with a hint of blush or blue. They hang from branches and beams, from string, from wire, from quiet intention. And they don't light the garden to be seen. They light it to feel seen. Their glow is humble. It doesn't compete with the stars. It joins them. You made these with care, maybe with your child's help, or in the stillness of an afternoon. A string of LEDs, a recycled cap, a soft twist of wire, and a thought. What if this could shine again? And now it does, because the magic of light isn't only in brightness, it's in where it lands. On a smile, on the petals of a night-blooming flower, on the book you read with bare feet resting on worn patio stones. In a world that rushes forward, these lamps ask us to pause, to see beauty in the gentlest glow, to let the garden exhale slowly into night. Because sometimes all a space needs to become sacred is a little light made from love. "11. Smart Bottle Sprinkler System. In the stillness between morning and midday, when dew has faded but the soil still holds a quiet thirst, the garden drinks, not in gulps, but in thoughtful sips. From bottle to earth, drop by patient drop, water finds its way, not through complex tubing or humming motors, but through gravity and intention. A recycled bottle, pierced gently at the cap, inverted into soil, becomes a wellspring, one that gives just enough. You kneel beside it, the sun warm on your back. You press the bottle down into the earth and feel, in that simple act, a kind of peace. There's no rush here, no need to run hoses or buy plastic piping. Just a bottle you would have thrown away, now reborn with purpose. This is irrigation in its softest form, a method that mirrors nature's own rhythm. One drop, one breath, one slow offering at a time. It asks little, but gives much. Moisture for the roots, time for you, and a new use for what was once overlooked. And perhaps that's what makes it so beautiful. It's not flashy, it's not instant, but it works. It cares. It reminds us that sometimes the best way to nurture the earth is not by overpowering it, but by listening to it, by understanding that growth is a quiet thing. So let the bottles do their work. Let the garden rise in gratitude. Let your hands stay free for other joys, knowing the water flows slowly, surely, and kindly. Because sustainability isn't always in the systems. Sometimes it's in the smallest decisions we make every single day. "12. Tiered Circular Bottle Planter. In a quiet pocket of the garden, where sunlight pools like honey on the grass, something rises, not tall, but joyfully round. Layer upon layer, a circle built not of bricks or clay, but of bottles. Common, discarded, and now gently transformed. Each tier narrows toward the sky. Each ring, brightly painted, carefully placed, cradles earth and bloom. And from this rhythm of repurposed shapes, flowers spill forth like laughter. Soft vincas in lavender, moss roses in electric pink, leaves stretching outward like hands eager to greet the light. This planter didn't come from a box. It came from vision. You saw the bottles. You saw their shape, their potential, and you stacked them, not just to hold soil, but to hold purpose. You filled them, pressed them together in a circle, and let nature do the rest. It's vertical gardening reimagined. Not on a wall, not in rows, but in gentle layers, rising like a cake for the bees and butterflies. There's beauty in the build, in its balance, in how it asks you to slow down and touch the earth more than once. And when you step back and look at it, surrounded by quiet green or the busy flutter of wings, you know, this is more than a planter. It's proof that even what we throw away can still be stacked into something sacred. That form can follow feeling. That color, when applied with care, can become more than art. It can become home. So let your bottles rise. Let your flowers fall. Let your garden bloom in circles of love. "13. Eco-Bird Feeder Bottles. In the hush of the garden's early hour, before the day fully wakes, there's a flutter in the trees, a whisper of wings, a trill of song. And then, a pause, a perch, a peck. Hanging just beneath the canopy, a bottle sways gently. its surface once clear and forgettable, now painted with care and transformed into something more than useful. It is kindness made visible, a place where birds, bold and shy alike, find nourishment and rest. The transformation is simple. A window carved wide enough for beaks to reach, a perch fashioned from a twig or spoon, seeds poured lovingly into the body of a bottle once emptied and discarded. Suspended by string, it sways like a cradle, holding not just food, but the beauty of intention. And what it gives back is more than we expect. The garden becomes a gathering place, a quiet concert hall where chickadees and finches compose their melodies between sips and seeds, where color comes not only from paint, but from wings, feathers, and the joy of watching life return. You don't need a workshop, just a bottle, a knife, a bit of string, and a heart that wants to give something back. Because maybe this is what reuse is really about, not saving the world in one grand act, but inviting it back to our windows, our porches, our trees, one bird at a time. Let your feeder hang. Let it sway. Let it remind you that even the smallest offerings matter. Modular bottle square pot. In the heart of the garden, where structure meets soul, something deliberate has taken form. A square, firm in shape, tender in meaning. Look closely and you'll see not bricks or blocks, but bottles, ordinary ones, cut, cleaned, and arranged side by side, shoulder to shoulder, as if gathering in silent support of the life they now hold. This is modular beauty. Each bottle forms part of a system, repetitive, rhythmic, yet full of possibility. It's not just a container for soil. It's a framework, a choice, a quiet refusal to throw away what could still serve, still cradle, still grow. You stack them, fit them, build them into shape. They connect without glue or fancy hardware, just logic and care. And once filled with earth, they become something sturdy, able to hold not just plants, but the weight of intention. What grows here is more than flowers. It's patience, persistence, a pattern you chose, shaped by your hands. And the beauty isn't hidden. The bottles are visible, proud of what they are and what they've become. You didn't mask the material, you gave it meaning. It's a planter that evolves. Want it bigger? Add more. Want it higher? Stack again. And just like that, what was once discarded now grows with you. Modular, flexible, personal. Because a garden doesn't have to be neat to be noble. It doesn't have to be grand to be giving. Sometimes it's just square, recycled, and rooted in love. 15. Blooming bottle vine flowers. In the heart of the garden, where structure meets soul, something deliberate has taken form. A square, firm in shape, tender in meaning. Look closely and you'll see not bricks or blocks, but bottles, ordinary ones, cut, cleaned, and arranged side by side, shoulder to shoulder, as if gathering in silent support of the life they now hold. This is modular beauty. Each bottle forms part of a system, repetitive, rhythmic, yet full of possibility. It's not just a container for soil. It's a framework, a choice, a quiet refusal to throw away what could still serve, still cradle, still grow. You stack them, fit them, build them into shape. They connect without glue or fancy hardware, just logic and care. And once filled with earth, they become something sturdy, able to hold not just plants, but the weight of intention. What grows here is more than flowers. It's patience, persistence, a pattern you chose, shaped by your hands. And the beauty isn't hidden. The bottles are visible, proud of what they are and what they've become. You didn't mask the material, you gave it meaning. It's a planter that evolves. Want it bigger? Add more. Want it higher? Stack again. And just like that, what was once discarded now grows with you. Modular, flexible, personal. Because a garden doesn't have to be neat to be noble. It doesn't have to be grand to be giving. Sometimes it's just square, recycled, and rooted in love. (16) Bottle Waterfall Fountain Sprayer. There's something timeless about the sound of falling water. It speaks in a language the heart understands, soft, steady, and endlessly soothing. And here, in a quiet garden corner, that voice flows not from stone, not from copper spouts or ornate fountains, but from bottles. Ordinary, transparent, tilted just so. Each one arcs forward, its spout shaped with intention. From their mouths, water glides through the air in slender streams, catching light like threads spun from the sun. It lands with a gentle splash into a pond or bowl below. Koi circle, lily pads drift, and the garden breathes a little deeper. This fountain didn't come from a store. It came from curiosity, from your hands. A collection of bottles, tubing, and a low-pressure pump. A design that feels more like play than construction. You tested angles, adjusted flows, and when it worked, when water danced from plastic with grace, you smiled. It's beautiful not because it's perfect, but because it's personal. And what it gives is more than sound. It gives rhythm, movement, life. It oxygenates the water. It invites dragonflies and birds. It draws people near, not with spectacle, but with serenity. Because in every garden, there should be a place that whispers. A place that reminds us that elegance can rise from the overlooked. That peace can pour from a bottle once empty. So tilt your bottle. Let it flow. Let it remind you. Nothing truly ends when we dare to see it differently. (17) Candy pop bottle pedestal planters. Sometimes, beauty enters the garden not with elegance, but with giggles, with dots of paint, pops of color, and the childlike thrill of making something that simply feels happy. Here they stand, bright, bold, and unapologetically playful. Candy-colored bottle planters rising like little totems of cheer. Some tall, some short, each one unique. Red with white spots, yellow with green stripes, blue that rivals the summer sky. And atop each pedestal, a bloom, a burst of pink or orange or soft lavender, swaying like a ribbon caught in the breeze. What were they before? Just bottles. Clear, empty, forgotten. But in your hands, they found purpose. You cut, you flipped, you stacked one inside the other. You painted with joy, not precision. And what emerged wasn't just a planter, it was personality. They don't whisper, they sing, they shout a little, and that's the charm. These planters remind us that DIY isn't always rustic. It can be loud, fun, and entirely UN serious. That gardening isn't only about quiet reflection. It can be about color and character and saying, look what I made. Place them by your entryway, your balcony, your kitchen steps. Let the colors catch the eyes of neighbors. Let the flowers dance. Let your inner artist bloom. Because sometimes the most delightful corners of a garden are the ones that feel like play, like childhood brought back through paint and petals, one recycled bottle at a time. (18) Whimsical bottle insect decor. In the warm hush between flowers and fence posts, something flutters, softly, unexpectedly. A shimmer in the air, a glint of color on the breeze. Not a real bug, but something just as alive in spirit. Dragonflies crafted from soda bottle wings. Bumblebees striped in hand-painted joy. Butterflies, delicate, detailed. Each wing a canvas of swirling patterns born from imagination. They rest along branches. They hover from strings. They bring whimsy to places where eyes might have skipped. These are more than decorations. They are small moments of wonder made from what would have been waste. You cut, you shaped, you painted with no roadmap, just feeling. Bottle bottoms became beetle bodies. Side panels, wings, wire and glue gave legs and motion. And somewhere along the way, your garden became a place not just of growth, but of story. Children love to spot them. Guests reach out, surprised by their softness. They move when the wind moves, casting shadows that flutter like fairy tales written in light. And you smile, because it didn't take much, just bottles and time, and the decision to make the ordinary enchanting. Let your garden buzz. Let it shimmer. Let these tiny sculptures turn forgotten plastic into gentle reminders that joy can be handmade, and magic, well, sometimes it just needs wings. "19. Rounded bottle edging. There's a subtle kind of beauty that doesn't cry out to be noticed. It lingers along the edges, silent, steady, purposeful. Along the garden's border, a line of bottles rests upside down in the soil. Their rounded bottoms rise like gentle domes, each one echoing the next in quiet rhythm. Painted or left clear, filled with soil or sand, they stand together not to shout, but to shape, to define the garden's story with grace. You didn't need bricks or pavers, just bottles that once held water, now holding space. You pressed them into the earth with intention. You followed the natural curve of the bed, and as they clicked softly into place, they became more than a border, they became a frame. Not rigid, but soft. Not loud, but lasting. The bottles hold back the soil. They hold up the flowers. They mark the transition from lawn to bloom, from untamed to tended. And in their repetition, they speak of care, of reuse, of seeing value in what most overlook. This is a design that asks you to slow down, to see pattern in simplicity, to understand that the edge of a space is not the end, but the invitation in. And when guests walk your garden, they may not notice the bottles right away, but their presence is felt. A calm order, a handmade grace. So line your path, frame your blooms. Let the rounded forms of yesterday's throwaways become today's quiet boundary. Because even the edges of our world deserve to be shaped with intention. "19. Rounded bottle edging. In a corner where the earth runs out but dreams still grow, something dangles, a vertical song of color and life. Bottles, once clear and empty, now sway gently in the breeze, each one cradling a thread of green. They don't stand tall, they float, stacked not side by side but one above the other, tied together like verses in a poem. From the topmost ring, perhaps bamboo, perhaps wire, they fall in rhythm. Red with polka dots, blue with tiny hand-painted leaves. Each bottle a planter, each one a chapter of care. This is gardening in the air, for those without room to sprawl, for balconies and tiny patios, for dreamers who see space where others see limits. A little paint, a few holes, some soil, some string, and suddenly, spider plants, potholes, or herbs begin their downward darts. You made this. You hung it with your own hands, and when the wind moves through it, it doesn't just rattle, it speaks. It tells the story of reuse that feels light, joyful, and unconcerned with perfection. It invites touch, invites attention, invites breath. And like all vertical things born of intention, it teaches us when we cannot grow out, we grow up. So let the bottles hang, let the leaves spill, let your space, however small, sing with the soft rustle of possibility. Because sometimes the most beautiful gardens fall gently from the sky. #21. Bottle Herb Spiral Garden. Imagine a garden that turns in on itself like a whispered secret, a path not to walk, but to smell, to touch, to taste. Hey, nestled in a sunny patch of ground, a spiral rises, not of stone or brick, but of bottles. Bottles that once quenched thirst, now cradling it in another form. Mint, basil, thyme, each curve a breath, each layer a flavor. You began with earth, a simple layout marked with string or stick in hand. Then came the bottles, cut, filled, and painted in earthy shades. You laid them one after another in a slow, winding ascent. The spiral took shape gently, like time made visible. Inside it, seedlings nestled into place, their roots pressing into soil made sacred by intention. This is not just a space-saving trick. It is a celebration of life spirals, of growth that does not climb fast or high, but deep and mindful. As you move around it, snipping herbs for tea or dinner, you are not merely harvesting. You are connecting to scent, to season, to the quiet rhythm of reuse. This spiral reminds us that the earth doesn't rush. It turns, patiently, offering the same lesson over and over. That with care, even waste can grow something fragrant, fresh, and beautiful. So let your herbs follow the curve. Let your bottles form the line. Let your garden mirror the spiral we all walk, toward nourishment, toward simplicity, toward home. #22. Plastic Bottle Garden Bench. Sometimes rest comes not from what we buy, but from what we build. Tucked beneath a fig tree or beside a bed of marigolds, a bench waits. Its form is humble, its purpose enduring. Beneath its weathered wooden top are bottles, hundreds of them, each one filled with sand, tightly packed, and stacked into place like bricks in a wall of quiet defiance. Defiance against waste, against the idea that usefulness ends when the bottle is empty. You filled them, you aligned them, you wrapped them in wire mesh, framed them in old pallet wood, and suddenly, what once held soda and stories of convenience now holds something much deeper: rest. It's sturdy, it's surprising. It's proof that structure can come from softness, that beauty can come from effort. And when you sit upon it, surrounded by your garden, the air still and your breath steady, you realize this isn't just a place to pause. It's a statement, a seat built by hand, by heart, by a vision of what could be if we stopped throwing away so easily and started building with meaning. Let it weather, let it creak. Let moss and memory find their way into its cracks. Because in this bench, you've made more than furniture. You've made a reminder that sometimes rest is earned through repurpose, and peace sits quietly in the things we choose to save. 23. DIY Bottle Lantern Trail. As dusk slips into the garden and shadows begin to stretch long across the grass, the light returns, not from above, but from the earth. One by one, they glow. Bottles once cast aside now line the path like sentinels of warmth. Each one holds a simple flame, perhaps a battery-powered light, perhaps a tea candle. And yet what they offer is more than illumination. They offer presence, atmosphere, a soft hush drawn in light. You planted them gently, dug small hollows, nestled each bottle with care. Some you painted with glassy strokes, amber, violet, ocean green. Some you left bare, their original form shining through like honesty made visible. Inside, you placed light, and with it, intention. This trail does not point the way, it welcomes you along it. Whether it leads to a hammock, a garden bed, or simply to pause, it tells the walker, you are thought of, you are guided, you are held in something gentle. And when the wind passes through, the lights flicker but do not fade, because they are anchored, not just in soil, but in meaning. A path made not from purchase, but from purpose. A lantern line that turns trash into tenderness, that transforms plastic into poetry. Let them glow. Let the garden hold its breath. Let you follow the trail you made, not to get anywhere, but to remember how beautiful it is to walk slowly by the light of your own making. If this video spoke to you, know that your subscribe isn't just a number. It's a lifeline for a small dream and the family behind it. Thank you for watching. Truly, I'd love to hear what moved you most or what you'd like to see next. Your voice shapes this space. And yes, I read every comment, every single one. Until next time, keep creating, keep reimagining, and never underestimate what your hands can do.